As new information comes out about the gunman responsible for the death of 4 people at a Tulsa, Oklahoma hospital on Wednesday, a motive behind the shooting is now revealed. The gunman involved in the Tulsa hospital shooting targeted a doctor who had treated him. He bought the AR-15 style rifle just 3 hours before using it in the shooting, according to officials. The shooter blamed Dr. Preston Phillips, who was killed in the attack, for his pain. Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin said that the shooter was a patient of Phillips, and on the day of the attack, the shooter had a letter with him which was the evidence of his intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way, according to the chief. The shooter died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. As the manhunt for an escaped Texas inmate continues, 5 people were found dead near the area where he was last seen in May. Escaped inmate Gonzalo Lopez managed to flee from police custody back on May 12th. Authorities say Lopez escaped after he stabbed a Texas Department of Criminal Justice correctional officer who was transporting him for a medical appointment. The 46-year-old was serving a life sentence for capital murder and attempted capital murder after law enforcement agencies received a call from an individual who was concerned about an elderly relative. Officers arrived to the residence and discovered the bodies of 2 adults and 3 children. A 1999 white Chevrolet Silverado was missing from the residence, and it is believed that Lopez may be driving the vehicle and he may be armed. President Joe Biden plans to visit Saudi Arabia and Israel later this month. President Biden praised Saudi Arabia on Thursday for playing a key role in getting OPEC to pledge to pump more oil. His trip could mean crossing paths with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as a presidential candidate. Biden pledged to make the Crown Prince pay the price after a U.S.-based journalist was killed by a hit team in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Saudi Arabia is also interested in whether the U.S. will make a deal to revive a nuclear deal with Iran, which is Saudi Arabia's arch enemy. President Biden says it's past time for Congress to do something about gun violence. The president's remarks came during a rare evening address from the White House late last night. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
Following a series of deadly mass shootings, President Biden once again pleading with Congress to act on gun control legislation.
How much more carnage are we willing to accept? How many more innocent American lives must be taken before we say enough? Enough.
The president laying out specific actions ranging from strengthening background checks to banning assault weapons, or at least raising the age to purchase them from 18 to 21. Also arguing that this issue is not about taking away Second Amendment rights.
It's about protecting children. It's about protecting families. It's about protecting whole communities.
Bipartisan talks about gun laws are underway.
I'm very clear-eyed about what is possible, and I'm encouraged by these conversations.
The effort has some support from Republicans who want to focus on issues like mental health.
Mental illness and school safety are what we need to target.
So to say it's inconsequential and then...
But lawmakers remain divided in other areas.
Is there any other possible way to stop a bad guy with a gun, but with a good guy with a gun? There is no other way.
This false notion of good guys with guns does not work.
The president says his message and the message from victims of gun violence remains the same.
Just do something. For God's sake, do something.
A passionate call for Congress to pass measures to curb gun violence. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.